Good afternoon, all. Camelback Trading 2724 InthePitFuturesTrading.com. Coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, February 19th. Looking at the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. Bunch of things happened today. As we gap higher for the fifth time this month, we had 8 upside gaps in January. This is the 5th in February. We hold the gap. Came back into the 5-day balance only in A period, never saw it again. So that's very positive. However, we did have a chance for a trend day up. That failed. We had a chance at a price spike when K made a new high. That got rejected. And we basically end with a P shape for short covering. Volume, absolutely horrendous. Right now at 38 million with the after hours. I'm going to end up doing about 42 million. The average is down to 64 million. So percentage-wise, way, way below the average. So again, I know I say it, but it has to be asked. Are higher prices choking off volume? That remains to be seen. Right now, all 3 time frames are up. As far as opportunities today, so I said I was caught a little bit between a rock and a hard place this morning with the gap, because you had a gap you wanted to be long, yet you were at the top of a balance high, and sellers are going to probably hold it. Well, we opened, traded back and forth through the opening a couple of times, went down. Second time it went above the open, I got on board, figuring we would now attempt to get above the previous all-time high, and we did, and it turned out to be a nice trade. I did another long play in C, right? B balance, very, very small range. C popped. As soon as we took out the high, I got long. That was a nice trade. My next trade was in E period. E period came down, right? D, so we were one time framing up. In fact, we one time framed up all morning. E came down, never took out the single prints for me. The ES did fill their single prints. I did not at that time. I got long and rode them back up in E, and then got out of the rest of them in F when we made a new high. H, I took a small short. I took 2 small shorts then, H and K, and both of them small. Both of them worked out nicely with value high and everything else. The fact that we didn't have single prints, I didn't mind fading it like I did in K period, and that's why I did that trade. I did 1 small long in L. That worked out, but very small. So my best trades happened early in the day in A, C, and E. Turned out to be a nice day. What did surprise me is M. With all the indices up, 0.5% or more, generally, especially since we had a price spike, generally I would have expected M to at least test the price spike, if not go for a price probe. And it actually did exactly the opposite. As it flushed down, actually lowered POC in M. After raising it, we raised it throughout the day, it lowered in M. So that kind of surprised me. We do have some decent excess right now. We do have decent excess at the all-time high. So we're going to see if that holds, right? Especially since it's in the regular trading hours. Okay, destinations. Right now on the upside, there's 2 and only 2. That would be 9 wide at 338.69. And then today's high, an all-time high of 339.08. For the downside, we don't have anything until today's low of 337.48, and then filling the gap at 337.17. It's a 31-point gap. Then we have the afternoon pullback low from February 18th at 335.96. Daily low 335.21. 334.75 daily low, and 334.20 price probe from the 10th. So, again, very healthy in all 3 time frames, yet we are starting again with the void to the downside, right? So if buyers do step away at any point, or if sellers decide to get involved, your downside can get tested right down to that big trend day we had on February 4th. Just show you the daily chart, right? The monthly's up, the weekly's up. Remember, there's gaps in all 3 time frames. We still have gaps in the monthly, weekly, daily. Never, ever have I seen that hold as long as we have in the SPY since I've been trading it for the last, I guess, 9 years. So very, very interesting. Here's your 5-day balance. Gapped higher, held the gap, and closed above it. Now, You know, I like to say this many times, one day doesn't make a market. So now the question is, tomorrow, do we stay above the 5-day balance? Do we hold the gap and start and continue to go higher as we're above the trend line? Or do the bears try to push us back into the 5-day balance and close the gap and get for the trend line? That's the question. Remember, it's an expiration on Friday. I wouldn't doubt they try to tag 340 at some point, maybe even on Friday. Here's your weekly, one-time framing up, right? We got away from the previous balance pretty nicely last week. This week, we've stretched last week's a bit. You'd like to get it higher. Hope you had a good day trading. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.